Yo, my peoples, what's up? Welcome to the One Stop Co-op Shop. Jason here, and today I have a playthrough for Herbaceous. This one is a very light and very pleasing card-based game for 1 to 4 players in which you are playing gardeners trying to gather herbs and build the best herb garden. It is a set collection game at the end of the day. You're going to be drawing cards from a central deck, deciding whether you want to put the card in a community pool where everybody can get them or in your own personal pool. Along the way, you're going to be trying to gather the best sets that you can, unmatching cards, matching cards, pairs of cards, and special cards. Whoever can push their luck in their card draw and build the biggest, most effective sets will win a game of Herbaceous. Now, here on the One Stop Co-op Shop, we know what gets the attention and the clicks and the views. It is the big Kickstarters, those recently landed big behemoth boxes with many expansions and minis and dragons and swords and lasers. All that's good stuff. We will continue to bring you that on the One Stop Co-op Shop. We're happy to do so. However, we also want to examine the full breadth of solo and cooperative gaming, even down to these simple little card games. This one's a few years old by now, but for me, it is a classic, especially in the multiplayer. So I'm going to teach those multiplayer rules. The solo mode is a light, pleasing affair as well. But before we get to all that, we have our YouTube channel, we have our YouTube Stream channel. Go ahead and like the videos that you like and subscribe to both those channels. We'd really appreciate it. We also have our podcast, which is weekly discussions about games. We talk about interviews. We have designers. Many hundreds of episodes at this point are available on the One Stop Co-op Shop podcast. We have our Discord, which is an amazing community. Please check the show notes for a link to our Discord if you just want to be a part of something great that talks about solo and cooperative games basically all day, every day, because we have an international community. We're always talking about those games. We have a Patreon. We would love a contribution, a monthly contribution if you want to help us keep games in front of the camera, keep our tech upgraded. In exchange, you get exclusive access to videos as well as channels in our Discord. But if you just want to stop by and join our community, it is completely free to join. We are the One Stop Co-op Shop, your one stop for solo and cooperative gaming goodness. I have a 2-player game of Herbaceous laid out. Here are the 2 players with their sets, which are the pot cards. That's where these sets are going to eventually get assigned. And we also have our deck of cards, which contains all the herbs. We have bay and lavender, tarragon, some special point guards are going to come out. I'll explain those in just a second. Turns in this game are extremely simple. So let's say it is player 1's turn. They are going to pull 2 cards one at a time. So they pull 1 card and they have to decide whether they're going to put it in the community or they're going to keep it in their private garden. The community, anybody can draft from. The private garden obviously belongs to themselves. So then we are going to put the dill in the personal area and put saffron right there. That is the 2 card pulls and the first player is done. So now it is players 2's turn and they are going to pull a saffron. So this is where you start to build those sets. So do they want to leave it in the community and try to work on something else? Or do they want to try to build on the saffron? So that is a core decision in the game. So then they're going to try to build on the saffron for their own goals, either for a pair or to build as many saffron as possible to pot in there. And they're going to use their second play to pull some rosemary. So then that is going to happen along the way. Each player is going to decide where they're going to put their cards. Eventually, they're going to make the decision whether they want to score and pot their cards. So in this particular situation, maybe player 2 over here might want to take some of this rosemary away so that player 1 doesn't get it. They'll say, you know what? I'm going to take this rosemary out of the community garden. They could also combine it if they're personal, if they really wanted to, and put it there. That is going to score based on the number of cards there. So run of 3 would be 10 points. Then they would continue with their turn, get some tarragon over there and saffron right there. They're going to start building on that saffron right there. However, they cannot score this again. Once you pot 1 set of cards, then that's it. You're going to have to go for something else in your garden. As I said before, the sets are pretty easy to understand. We have the different sets for each different set of cards, and there's 7 types. So if you get all 7, you get the full 14 points. You have some pairs that you can get, the full run, and also this card. This card can take any 3, but if you're able to put in the special scoring cards, then you'll get a few extra points. If you're able to put in all 3 special scoring cards, 1, 2, and 3, you get the herb biscuit. So 1, 2, 3 goes in that glass jar. That is the only place where they can go is that glass jar. You get an extra 5 points. Light, easy, breezy. That is basically most of what you need to know to play Herbaceous. All right, we have a solo game here set up. I'm just going to play right through it. Rules are mostly the same with a couple of tweaks. First of all, I am using a 36 card deck. There are 72 cards in the game. So yes, half have been discarded. So really quick solo experience. Second of all, the multiplayer game, we don't start with any cards in the field. In the solo, you get 2 cards in your community, 3 cards in your private garden, 1 card that is discarded. In the multiplayer game, you cannot pot on your first turn. In the solo game, you can. If I wanted to, I have 5 different cards right there. I can throw them into this pot and score 8 points, but I'm going to try to push my luck, get some lavender and dill out there, and complete that set. Finally, if a 5th card were ever to get in the community, then they all get discarded and you would start fresh. So you kind of want to avoid that, especially early. Try to get some early points and get going that way. Although there are some times where there's not much you want in the community, flush it and see if you can get some new ones. In the solo, instead of 2 cards, you're pulling 3 cards. So 1 at a time. 1 goes in the personal, 1 goes in the community, and 1 goes in the discard. We got some chive. I like that. So I'm going to try to get that 1, 2, 3 into this pot over here and get that herb biscuit. Some rosemary, because we are going for the multiple. Let's go ahead and chuck that because I already have some rosemary there. And dill. Excellent. So I'm going to go one more chance. If I get that lavender, then I can pot all that stuff and get points. That's the push your luck aspect of it. It might not work out for me, but you know what? It's an easy breezy game. Let's do it. So then my first pull of this turn is going to be some saffron. Saffron, let's go ahead and bank you just in case. Nope, I want to keep this clear in case I get a 1 or a 3. So we're going to go ahead and discard you. Come on, lavender. Lavender, that is not lavender, that is dill. Let's go ahead and put that in my personal. And some bay, which is a pear, is going to go out here. So I have 2 pear. I have dill, bay. I could pot those in the pears, but let's go ahead. And because if I did my next turn, there would be 5 cards, discard them all. No, we're not going to do that. So we got dill, rosemary, saffron, sage, tarragon, and bay. Let's clean out that community. That is a set of 6 in the unmatching pile. That is the second best that I can do. I will take that and a nice clean community pile for me to work with. That's great. Let's go ahead and do my next turn. Rosemary. A lot of rosemary, but I already have rosemary in the discard. So I don't know if I'm going to go ahead and get that going. And I already have the unmatching set. So should I just chuck this rosemary and say goodbye? There could be way more rosemary in there. I'd be making a calculation. So let's go ahead. You know what? Get out of here, rosemary. I might regret that, but who knows? We got some sage. Can go in the community. And ooh, yes, mint right there. So I'm going to hold out and see if I can get that 3 card, which is the time. Chive and mint would go in the special pot. Next turn, we got some lavender. Oh, I already have the unmatching, so that is not too great. But if I get 2 lavender, that would be a pair. Sure, let's keep that. Got some tarragon. Not very great options there. And yes, time. Fantastic. That actually came out relatively quickly. So let's go ahead and go 1, 2, 3 into this glass jar right there. And that earns me the herb biscuit. So then that is 6 points for the 3 cards here. Any cards can go in here, but if I get the 1, 2, 3, then I get an extra 5 points. In case you haven't figured it out, it is a high score solo. Most points matters. That is the entire game. So let's go ahead and do our next turn. We got some dill. Dill would be good for the pairs. So let's go ahead and do a dill. And time can get trashed because I don't need you anymore. And another dill. All right. So that might be a nice little run right there if there's more dill in the deck. Sure. Okay, next turn. We got some rosemary. We already committed to throwing you out. And some sage. Okay. That can work out some pairs right there. Let's see if I can get a lavender. That would be perfect. Bay. Okay, that's not bad. So I now have 3 pairs that I can make. I can make a pair of dill, sage, and bay. Adding another one would discard them. I don't want to discard them because of these nice pairs. So let's go ahead and just do that. So we got 2 bay, we got 2 dill, and we got 2 sage. And that is going to go in the pot. I may have been able to hold out, kind of get that trashed a little bit better. But 12 points, 6 cards under there. Sure, why not? So at this point, I have to choose a card to just run with it. Everything else is garbage because I'm collecting the same card here. So let's go ahead and pick that. Rosemary, you're garbage. Ah! Oh no! I probably should have gone with the rosemary. As I said, half the deck has been discarded. So that is something I have to live with. Some saffron. Maybe saffron will treat me good. Saffron is already at a discard. I'm kind of betting on either lavender or dill. And that's kind of not what you want to do. You don't want to just bet on cards because chances are really good they're not in the deck. But that's kind of the bet I made because of the play that I made so far. Okay. So, okay, more saffron. I will absolutely take it. Let's put that in my personal. Some sage. I think I'm out on sage. And dill. Okay, I might be in on dill. Let's see. So now we are getting close to the bottom of the deck. Tarragon. Yeah, that's basically out. Sage. It doesn't matter. And saffron right there. So I'm going to go with saffron. So I don't have to pot anything yet. So I'm going to sacrifice what's in here. I've collected my saffron in my personal garden. So I kind of feel pretty good about that. So then, this is the last turn. So I have one more chance to pot cards. So there could be one more saffron in the deck. So that is not saffron. That is not saffron. That is saffron. Oh my God. All right, so I ended up with a decent little set right there. In the solo game, you have one last opportunity to pot cards. So that would be 14 points right there. And that is the entire game of Herbaceous solo. So I got my 5 points plus the 6 is 11. I have 6 cards here, which is 12. That makes 23. I have 12 cards here. That makes 35. And 4 cards here. That is 49. So now I compare myself to my handy-dandy chart. 49 points is a talented gardener. Sure, I'll take it. I've scored way worse. I've never gotten this total green thumb. That's just like basically luck. You play and play and play until you get to the 57 and you hopefully make good decisions. And then you can play the other half and see if you can score the 114 points. That's probably not going to happen. But it is a light, breezy solo. If you like card games, if you know somebody who plays a lot of Klondike Solitaire and you want to give them something that mixes it up, that also plays well as a multiplayer, I can definitely recommend Herbaceous. I got it years ago. It has stayed in my collection and it will stay in my collection. I really like everything that Herbaceous has to offer. This is Jason with the One Stop Co-op Shop reminding you that we'll see you at the next stop.